Ooh, there we go. How's the volume?
I think it's good. Hopefully good.
Hey, why the light on?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it came on like automatic.
Let's see. Um, it's off now, right?
Yeah.
All right, bet. All right. Oh man, let's lift this chair up. Featuring Navy on the booth, Navy on the building. We got my
hmm
dog right here.
Jordan Davis. How y'all
Yep.
doing? How y'all doing?
Episode 7. Episode 7. We definitely been, been on the road, giving the people a lot of good
hmm
information. Um, this one is gonna be more self mastery focused, so that anyone watching this video can really use information that is being given and implement it into your life, so that you can master yourself. Whatever it is that you want out of life, and live the best quality life that you can. Um, with that being said, the first question:
Let's go.
uh, How do you get out of your own way?
That's one hell of a first question.
Seriously.
Um, you know, I think it's tough to answer that because I feel like it kind of depends on the person. Some people in their own way, different ways than other people.
Mhm.
But I guess the best way I could really answer and to give the most value is um, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like being aware, being aware of what you need to change. Just overall self awareness, I would
Mhm.
say,
Yeah.
because it's not like I can say, all right, Nation, this is how you should do it, and that's the same exact plan as if I go to the next person.
Mhm.
But I think it may be impossible to really do it without kind of stopping, thinking, and understanding a lot about yourself,
Mhm.
and also kind of looking in the mirror and understanding like, all right, what are these things that I need to work on that I may try to turn a blind eye to, or I try to act like it's not a big deal, but I know it's a big deal.
Mhm.
It's tough. It's definitely tough to kind of like identify your own flaws. But I would think that, whether you're man, woman, old, young, whatever, the first thing is just understand, okay, so these are the things that I'm not strong at, or I need help with,
Mhm.
along with these are the things that I am good at, and finding a way to improve yourself, but also understanding that it's probably not going to be an overnight thing. It's going to be a journey. I think
For
what
sure.
happens is people think it's a quick fix, or all right, I'm gonna switch this and I'm straight. Nah, like from what I think, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but self mastery, getting out of your own way, and all of that in that realm is a lifelong thing.
Mhm.
So to me, it's starting with that, and then it can kind of show, all right, well, here's a few action items that I can start to do, knowing I got to do them now from here on out, not just, all right, let me do this, and then
Mhm.
and I could go back to my old ways. No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. Matter of fact, as like kind of an example to go with this is like, let's say somebody wanted to start dieting, they want to eat better.
Mhm.
It wouldn't make any sense to do it for 2 weeks and then go back
Go
to what
back.
you were doing.
Yeah.
It has to be a journey. So hopefully that's answering your
Mhm.
question.
Yeah.
And it probably is going to stem into way more other questions, but that's what we're here for.
Mhm. And not to get like too religious on people, but when people talk about repenting,
Mm-hmm.
it makes no sense to start repenting and giving your life to God just to go back to where you were before.
Hello.
Is pointless for the most part. Like it's really pointless to go back. And I feel
Yeah.
like that is sometimes the hardest thing, is not going back. Like I feel like
Mm-hmm.
there's a decision that has to be made, and that decision has to be like, what do you really want to who do you really want to be? Like, do
Right.
you want to be the
Yeah.
same person that you've been, or
Mm-hmm.
do you want to implement new habits and strategies and really get out of your own way?
Right.
And one something that people can like do is write on a piece of paper
Mm-hmm.
what's what's hindering you or what's stopping you from being successful. And that can look like a whole bunch of different things for different people,
That's a fact.
but acknowledging, like you said, self-awareness, you have to be aware of who you are and the things that you're doing, because that's step one. Self-awareness is step one.
Yeah.
And then writing stuff down, maybe that could be not being as healthy as you want to be, or not going to the gym, or if somebody smokes or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
that could be holding people back, and like I said, it's different for everybody, but
Right.
writing that stuff down, then it allows you to be like, okay, cool, this is what's holding me back, and now you know what's holding you back. So that's where you make a decision, like, do I
Yep.
stop doing what's holding me back so that I can reach my best self, or do I make an exception for a couple of these things and still try to reach my best self, knowing that I can't reach my best self if I'm still holding on to these things?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what are like what would you say is like a habit or something that you've held on to that you had to let go of to reach the best version of yourself?
Damn, that's a great question. Um, Keeping it real personal here, but let me think deep about a good answer. So you said, let me make sure I understand. Something that like kind of was tough to let go of that I had to let go of, or something that is tough to let go of that I didn't let go of yet.
Something that you had to let go of, or something that you knew was holding you back, that you was like, yo, I gotta stop
Oh, okay.
this.
I really I got a good answer in this. I don't know if everybody's gonna understand this, but I'm gonna paint the picture of like I was about between the ages of 25 and 27. I knew I wanted to be promoted. I wanted to level up, whatever. But I also knew that comes with certain types of communication.
Hmm.
So at the time, my manager, probably like 45-year-old white guy, was like, "Listen, you really can do whatever you want. You have all the tools to literally like do whatever it is you think you want to do, but you have to work on your communication." For me, it was communication, and it was being able to have professional communication and doing it without really thinking about it. And it took a long time, and actually I still work on it today. Now, if you watching this and you knew me when I was 20, 24, 18, 17, I did not talk like this. So what he said to me was, once you start to work on that, everything else will unfold. Because what I realized is I could talk to whoever. I wasn't afraid to have conversations, but certain things like certain phrases can't say anymore,
Hmm.
or certain ways you might say something, you have to say it a different way.
Hmm.
So what I did, I had to slow down, think about what I wanted to say before I said it, but also think about the follow-ups that will happen after. Because if I'm having a back and forth discussion, I can't just kind of like code switch for
Hmm.
half of it and then go back into, yo, man, let me tell you, that's a fact, da 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 da. Like all of that, nothing's wrong with that. I want to be real clear on that. And I guess you would call that AAVE, so African American Vernacular, whatever.
Hmm.
Nothing's wrong with speaking like that. But speaking like that will hinder you from making a lot of money because of the relationships that you won't be able to build.
Hmm.
So between the ages of 25 and 27, I really slowed down, thought about my tone, my pace, the words I choose to use, um, and knew that that was the only way to really get into the rooms where I know I should be. And also, if I were to come across somebody who I want to meet, I can't approach them any old way.
Hmm.
So me working on it and kind of like prepping myself for that moment whenever it may happen
Hmm.
helped me understand how important it is. But now at this point, like bro, I just turned 35, so it's been about 10 years of this. I see that 9 times out of 10 in business, you're gonna have competitors. If you can be a better communicator, you're gonna
Hmm.
beat out a lot of the competitors.
Confirm.
right? And I'm not just saying verbal communication. I'm also saying written communication. So I take my time and like my handwriting is immaculate because I write real slow. Right? I'm not running
Yeah.
like if I'm like I got my little book, right? And here I write whatever I want
Mhm.
because nobody really gonna see this.
Yeah.
But if I wrote you a note and it's about anything business related or anything professional, I'm gonna write it so that anybody can read it.
Mhm.
If I write you an email, I'm gonna space out my thoughts so it's not just one big chunk of an email, right? And I'm also
Mhm.
gonna always greet you in the first line with your name spelled right. One
Mhm.
side thing that I hate if somebody spells my name wrong in the email, which is crazy because my name is not that hard. But
Mhm.
imagine me sending you an email and I'm engaging in something that will help both of us or one of us or whatever, and I spell your name wrong. You
Mhm.
probably won't even read my email after that.
That's unprofessional.
And that
Mhm.
happens a lot. So what I'm saying in the sense of communication is that is something that I literally had to change because if I kept speaking the
Mhm.
way I was speaking, I don't think I would be here right now. And that's real. And I would I would say that's probably the most important thing that you can change that'll change your life that really doesn't cost anything. You just study people who can speak well or
Mhm.
like I said, take your time and really think about what you want to say, but actually how you want to say it.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
I agree. And I
Yeah.
feel like communication is so important in so many different realms. Like in
Mm-hmm.
business is important, in relationships is important,
Facts.
whether that's somebody that you're dating or whether that's friends. It's a lot of times it's not even like what you say, it's like how you say it. And
Every
that's
time.
that's communication too. And then you got nonverbal communication. But being
Mm-hmm.
able to articulate yourself in a way that people can, receive in
Right.
like a genuine manner,
Mm-hmm.
that's so beneficial for you, but also for the other person because the other person can kind of sense like, oh, this is a good person, or they
Exactly.
know how to communicate, which is good. And the communication, I mean, if we think about communication, that's how we communicate. Like
It's
that's
the
how
key
that's
to
that's
everything.
literally we communicate every single day. So if
Yep.
somebody doesn't know how to communicate, they're selling themselves short based off of where they can go. Because if you can't communicate, then you can't even really get into certain spaces without being
Yeah.
able to communicate. Like you can communicate your way into a room with, you know, a bunch of people that make a lot of money just by you being a person that knows how to articulate yourself and
That's so
be
true.
genuine.
That's
Mhm.
man, listen, we could the whole episode could be about this, but what
Let me
I'm
grab
saying is, um, boom,
grab a
check this
pen.
out. So let's just and this is me going into what I just said a little deeper. When I say I'm gonna be a better businessman than competitors, it means if there's an RFP or if there's something that can potentially be some revenue for my company,
Mhm.
I'm going to see it probably before the person who goes, I don't need to check emails. Like, key point, there's a lot of money in your emails. I'll say that.
Mhm.
The other thing is, I'm going to respond quicker. I'm going to respond more concise. I'm going to be on top of it because I know a lot of other people who may be competitors, they may be slow to respond, maybe not even gonna see the opportunity in the email. That kind of thing is like I've been fortunate because I always check my emails, but I also know time is of the essence. So
100%.
if I know that, I know I'm gonna move quicker,
Mhm.
but I'm also gonna be more efficient because 9 times out of 10, here's the other key. If you're engaging in anything business related, the other side of who you're engaging with, you need to find a way to make their life a little easier, even if it
Mhm.
is responding quicker,
Mhm.
because they're gonna remember
Facts.
you.
Yeah.
So that's just another little like I had to add that gem in there because one, there's money in your emails. Two, if you can respond quicker and make their life easier, you are head and shoulders above everybody else. And then
Mhm.
three, people will now trust you. Like, okay, I already know he emails back quick.
Mhm.
Or okay, well, I'm gonna make sure I'm putting this email out or I'm gonna make that phone call because I know he usually picks up.
Mhm.
So, that all lends to building trust and being reliable because in business, I feel like if you don't have trust, you don't have a business.
100%.
And if you're not working on building trust, you probably are going the other direction where you
Mhm.
working yourself out of business. So
Yeah. And I feel like that makes you come off as a reliable person. nobody wants to do business with somebody that's not reliable and then
Exactly.
somebody that's not responding. Like if you're not responding now, it's like I can't even count on you. Like you're not even
Exactly.
responding to the messages or the calls. Like if you see you got a missed call from somebody and you see that you got a missed call, the right thing to do is call them back. Like you don't know
Hmm.
what they talking about, especially if it's business related. Comes
Yeah,
down to communication, and then
that's so
that's
true.
something that I had to kind of improve when it comes to getting out of my own way because I had a reaching out problem, like a
Mm.
outreach problem. Like I
Yeah, yeah.
wouldn't, it'd take me a minute to respond, or in terms of reaching out to other people, I wouldn't be the one reaching out all the time, and
Right.
I had to get out of my own way and make sure I made an effort to actually do that stuff and
Hmm.
respond faster. They actually say in business, um, the faster you respond, like if you respond immediately, you're like 300, 400 times more likely to, accomplish what you're trying to accomplish or make, if you're
Exactly.
trying to sell something or something like that,
Exactly.
responding
Don't let
fast
that
will
go over
just,
your head.
nah, seriously, Alex Ramosi said that actually, so I'm gonna give him his credit. He put me on.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
but response time is so important. And overall, it makes you, come off as a person that's reliable. Um, to touch on habits, what would you say is a good way to get rid of a bad habit?
Mm. I would say take it day by day. Like
Mm,
too many times we try to break a habit and like, all right, I'm not gonna do this for 30 days. Nah, just today. Like
mm,
let me just do today. Um, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna eat after 9 p.m. today. You accomplish that, that's a win. You can do it again tomorrow. Keep it real simple.
mm,
But I think what happens, especially I don't know why, but like our culture is kind of built around, okay, let's do a 90-day run, or okay, for 30 days, like all of that stuff is important, but like to size it down to just today helps you get to those 30 days, 90 days, the year,
mm,
whatever. So definitely just focusing on today,
mm,
winning today, right? Or accomplishing whatever it is, whether it's a big win, small win, like just focus on today because tomorrow's not promised anyway. But also, if you think about it, like it probably is a little bit easier to look at it from that lens and go, okay, I did that today, I'm doing that today, or
mm.
whatever.
Yeah, something that I, kind of live by is like when we think about time, which is man-made, we're always in the now. Like we
Yeah.
will always be in the now. So like tomorrow when we wake up, we're still gonna be it's gonna be right now. Like we have
Hmm.
this physical. I feel like the present is the only time that we really have. It's just that when
Yeah.
we go down the line, that's the future. But even when we get to the future, it's gonna be our present. So we
Right.
always are in the present. So taking things a day at a time. Like the only thing we have control of is today.
Hmm.
And then tomorrow is gonna be today. Tomorrow, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
It does. And
But
I want to say what you just said again because we got to like clip that up, kind of like the only time we really have is now. I think that's what you
Mm,
said, or the present. I
mm,
already missed it, but I think that's something that I don't want people to look over because yes,
mm,
the only time we have is now or present, whatever way you want to slice it. But yeah, that's big. That's
mm.
big.
And that's why, like, taking it a day at a time is the only thing that we can do. Taking it one step at a time.
Hmm.
Um, this is like kind of off topic, but I was watching SpongeBob over the weekend.
Okay.
Yo, SpongeBob is mad funny, but also SpongeBob is like he loves life. He really
Hmm.
loves life. Like he woke up, he first of all, he's on time to work every day. He's
Yeah.
not playing no games when it comes to the Krusty Krab. Like
Hmm.
I watched the episode. He had the thing behind him blow for the alarm.
Hmm.
He had that come on. He threw his blanket off. Boom. He was like, he was like, time to go do my favorite thing at my favorite place. I had to write that down. I'm like, yo, he's like excited to get up and go do what he loves to do.
And
Like,
he
and
flipping burgers.
that's what I'm
So
saying. Like, we should
yeah.
all be like that because we
Yeah.
get to get up and live a life in general.
Yeah, no,
So,
no, that's for real.
saying affirmations is so important, and just our approach to what we're doing
Mm-hmm.
has to be very strategic because we can wake up and it's like we have a great opportunity and we're sitting on gold or whatever, but we're not giving our best self.
Right.
whether that's because we're, still being pulled in different directions. You got a bunch of stuff going on that you want to go to, and it's like, how do I even navigate life? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's hard to navigate, but I feel like starting the day and approaching it with positivity and affirmation is like, I'm about to go do my favorite thing at my favorite place.
Yeah.
Just saying that is like,
Yeah.
yo, I love what I do. And you can program yourself to love what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I bring up SpongeBob, because it's like, just one is mad funny. I'm not gonna lie. SpongeBob is
Yeah.
actually hilarious. But also his approach to what he was doing
Mm-hmm.
is like he wasn't playing with it. Like he loved it so much that he was always on time. He never wanted to stop. I don't think it was ever when he didn't have a job, or maybe he
Yeah.
got
He
fired or
never
something like
called
that.
in.
Facts, he never called in. And then Squidward, on the other hand, he's like that opposite,
Yeah.
because he doesn't want to be there. Like most people that have, say someone that has a 9 to 5, they don't like it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be there, but it was a episode. Yeah, this is crazy, but it was an episode, and basically Mr. Krabs said that Squidward stole his favorite dime. And then so Squidward was like, "Yo, I don't need this job." He threw the hat. Next scene, it just panned to Squidward, and he was like, he had the cup, he had a beard. He's like, spare
Squidward had a
change.
beard.
And then
That's
basically
hilarious.
SpongeBob seen him, and he seen that he was like, kind of down bad, so he started taking care of him. And I bring this up because Squidward started taking advantage of SpongeBob because he was being mad nice. He was like, "Yo, whatever you need, I got you." And then Squidward was like, "Nah, I don't want to be a burden." But towards the end of the episode, it got to a point where Squidward like, "SpongeBob, I need some lemonade right now." Like, so it's like you can see how like this shows so much value because, you know, one person's trying to help somebody, and then that ego comes into play, and then they're trying to take advantage of it. But
Yeah.
I say that to say it's two different types of people. SpongeBob loves the job, and
Mm-hmm.
Squidward hated the job. But once he was off, he needed to go back. He had to
Yeah.
go back. He didn't want to be there, but he had to. So he didn't make it. He didn't give himself any options. But I say
Yeah.
that just to say, the approach on how you approach the day is
Mm-hmm.
super important. Um,
Hold on with that,
yeah.
because the approach, the affirmations. I got some affirmations I wrote probably like couple days or weeks ago, whatever. I'm
Hmm.
gonna read them because I saw it on like a viral Instagram reel,
Hmm.
and I'm like, let me write that down. And I just thought it was dope, but I see stuff like this all the time. But it was all right. Boom. My mind is worth millions.
Hmm.
I don't work for money. Money works for me.
Hmm.
I'm always at the right place at the right time.
Hmm.
My name is spoken of amongst the most successful. Every penny I spend comes back to me tenfold, and I get paid to exist.
Hmm.
So I think these are some powerful affirmations, and I wrote
That's
them
huge.
simply because if you really think about it, reading those every day probably is going to create some good luck for you. I don't care
Hmm.
who you are, I don't care where you work, what you do, but I'm only bringing it up because of how important the present is and also how affirmations start to change your life.
Hmm.
So just wanted to throw that out there so y'all steal those if you want because I certainly did.
I'm
But
definitely stealing those.
exactly, I was gonna
Um,
say you can take a pic if you want. I'll show you and you can jot them down or whatever. But yeah, I had to
no,
write those down.
I feel like that's speaking it into existence. But like your
Mm-hmm.
brain monitors your self talk. So how you talk to yourself, your brain is really like
Yeah,
whatever you tell yourself is what you believe. So you might as well
that's a
just
fact.
speak positive all the time. Like you don't have to be in a negative state. Like people that
You should
you know
never be in a negative state
honestly. And
ever.
the Bible says anybody that's quick to quarrel, or quick to anger, or quick to be negative, that's a person that isn't, it basically says to stay away from that person because
Hmm.
they're quick to be negative, and
I
that's
agree.
that's naturally gonna be put into the universe and affect whoever that person is near.
Right.
Um, on the mind, you know, nowadays it's a lot of the body telling the mind what to do, or the
Mm.
flesh being being the reason why people are falling back into a person that they don't want to be. Meanwhile, they're trying to get to a certain place and they want to become a certain person, but their mind has to tell their body what to do. Their mind has to tell their flesh what to do. How can you kind of program your mind, and why is it important to really be in tune with your mind?
Man, it's a loaded question right there, bro.
Nah, it
But
is. I ain't gonna lie. It
it's
definitely
it's
is.
cool though, because this is what we're here for, right? So what I would say is, understand. I actually learned this when I read Think and Grow Rich. Understand that your subconscious mind is actually the most powerful.
Mhm.
So your subconscious mind kind of is fueled by like the forefront of what you think, right? So like prime example. This is why I share the affirmations, because imagine if I'm saying these affirmations out loud, that's, obviously I'm putting that into the universe, but it's also curating my subconscious mind to think that way too.
Mhm.
See, our subconscious basically is what controls us,
Mhm.
but we don't always think about it because it's subconscious. It's like, well, thoughts behind the thoughts kind of thing.
Mhm.
But what I realize is most people who are successful or in a position where I would like to be or something like it, they are very, very much tapped into their subconscious mind. They've already curated and created it to be that, whisper of positivity in dark times.
Mhm.
Because the other thing is like, I don't care who you are, you're going to experience some dark times. You're going to be, faced with some challenges, and the way you deal with it kind of shapes your future.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna be a little vulnerable here. I'll tell you, it was a point in my life where I was like, kind of at a crossroads of like, what am I about to do, right? And I knew I had to do something different than what I was doing, even though I felt like I was all right. But I'm
Mhm.
like, I need more. I need to find a way. Like, what am I gonna do? And at that moment, I knew if I were to be like telling myself, I don't know what I'm gonna do, I'm worried, I'm stressed, I'm this or that, that would have put me down the path of destruction. I knew that for a fact. And I'm glad because the way I was raised, it was always about kind of building that mental strength. So in that moment, instead of me worrying and kind of throwing negativity around, it was I already know I'm gonna be fine. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I know I'm gonna be okay because
Mhm.
that's what I said. That's what I'm gonna do. And then slowly but surely, I started to figure it out. Now I'm not gonna say everything just went the way I wanted it to because I didn't even know what I was doing really. But the point I'm making is I went from a point in my life where I could have ended up all messed up, doing crazy things, but I knew subconsciously I couldn't have any negative thoughts.
Mhm.
So every day I focus on what are the things I can do, what are the things that I can start to change, and then little by little things started to change, and I ain't looked back since. So
Mhm.
it's a big piece of who I am, but I also think about the people you might see on the side of the road or the people who clearly are down bad. I would think, and I don't want to speak for them, but I would think they got there because of their subconscious, their lack of that if you don't have a strong mental, you could end
Mhm.
up under a bridge somewhere.
100%.
So I see those people, and even times where I might give, but I know they're only there because of whatever mentality they had or the lack of.
Mhm.
So I use that as fuel for myself, but also I like to be just aware of like, yeah, that's messed up for them. I feel for them, I pray for them, but things could have been different.
Mhm.
That's all.
I
That's all I
agree.
want to say.
Nah, I feel like self-talk. I mean, that's something that people could change like today. It don't matter what your circumstances is.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk to yourself. You have to love yourself. You
For
have to talk
sure.
to yourself like you love yourself. Regardless of what's going on, you can have no money in a bank account. Trust me,
Right.
I've been there. Like,
Right.
not a dime in my bank account, nothing in investments, nothing in high yield, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same day I took a screenshot of my bank account just so I can know where I came from. from zero. But while I was at zero,
Boy, that's bold. You took a
man,
screenshot of the zeros.
you
Nah, I
feel me?
respect that for real.
Cause like
Cause
at
you
this
know,
point, where else can I go? I
right?
can't. I gotta go up now. I
Yeah,
got to. So it's
yeah.
like, but nobody would be able to tell that I had nothing in my bank account based off of how
Mm-hmm.
my character is and how I talk to myself. I just dropped a song called Visions. One of the lines is, "I see you winning, taking L's, still grinning." Like you could
Mm.
be winning
Tap
just
in.
because you and you alive, you
Yeah,
winning, you blessed because you're alive. Like
that's so
that's
true.
the simplest gift. It's not even simple for real. That's the biggest gift that we have. But you could
Yeah.
be taking L's. Nobody really see the L's for real unless you putting it out there. But take your L with a smile on your face. Everybody loses in life. Like that's what
Mm-hmm.
life is. Life is about solving problems
Yeah.
and figuring out solutions. Um,
Facts.
when it comes to the subconscious mind, maybe 2020 in December, that's like a time where I really just like switch. I think that's low key when my third eye opened. I'm not gonna lie. So what I did was I was in the gym every day and I was like going through a bulking journey. But while I was going through this bulking journey, I was clean. And mind you, I'm in college, so I wasn't smoking, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't doing none of that during this time. So I went back home and I'm just clean, working out, doing affirmations every day. I did that for like maybe like 2, 3 weeks, and I was super in tune with myself. Like I
Mm.
knew
Probably
myself.
felt good.
Yeah, like I knew myself more than I knew myself. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, I never had that experience in my life. So that's why I know I'm like, okay, this has to be how I'm supposed to be doing this. And I was doing a bunch of research on the subconscious mind,
Mm-hmm.
and I looked up how to reprogram my subconscious mind. Basically, right when you wake up and right before you go to bed, you say affirmations to yourself, you meditate, you can recite quotes from the Bible, you do affirmations while you meditate, and basically when you go to sleep and when you wake up, you can even play. I use it's this YouTube account called Be Inspired. So
Mm-hmm.
I was pulling up affirmations. So I would go to sleep to affirmations. Like affirmations would just be playing while I'm going to sleep. And
Wow.
then also 432 hertz. I'll put on 432 hertz. That's basically how you regulate you basically, that's a frequency that like regulates your spirit, I guess.
Okay.
It's just like a very calming and relaxing and reprogramming frequency. So you could just pull it up on YouTube, 432 hertz, and just let it play. And I was doing the affirmations. I was doing 532 hertz. I was in the gym. I was meditating, and I did that every single day. And I just felt like super in tune with myself.
Mm.
And I feel like that's something that I've been trying to get back to. It's just been so much going on to the point where it's like I have to be more detailed and more organized on how the day goes
Mm-hmm.
so that I can be super in tune like I once was. Um, but yeah, somebody trying to reprogram their subconscious mind, they can use that to the T. Right before you
That's
wake
some
up and
game.
right when you go to bed,
That's some game for you.
do affirmations and meditate. Put on 432 hertz. Hit the gym every day, and just talk to yourself in a positive manner every single day. And that's something that people can do regardless of their situation, regardless of how much money they make.
Yeah.
That's just a way that you can reprogram yourself for success in the future.
Yeah. I think that's big.
Um, and another dude I was watching, his name Jim Quick, he a brain coach. Something that he said that kind of stuck with me. He said, "Life is the C between B and D. B is B is birth,
Mm-hmm.
D is death. So life is the choice
Mm-hmm.
between birth and death. How do you approach, or how did you approach your choices when you were younger, and how do you approach your choices now?"
When I was younger, it was, I would say the choices I made revolved around the next week or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess at the moment, like that was okay. Like, because I feel like I didn't make crazy choices. Like, one thing about me, I always learn from others' mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So, like in high school, I wasn't smoking, I wasn't drinking, but everybody else was.
Mm-hmm.
And then in college, I knew for me, I knew I don't want to do this, but I gotta do it. So once after I flunked out and I came back and I had to pay for all of my classes, I knew no matter what, I was going to do my work.
Mhm.
But the same temptation of like, man, you could miss class was still all around me,
Mhm.
right? But the choices I made were largely because I knew I had to do what I had to do. So like, and when I guess when you say young, I'm thinking like, I don't know, between the ages like 17 and 25, not like kid young.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
facts.
but like back then, the funny thing is now I'm realizing back then the things that were important to me are not the same as the things that are important to me now. And I
Mhm.
also, at this point, I guess I could say my third eye is open because I can tell what's important to people, um, along with myself. But like back then, the things that were important were like sneaker collection, buying clothes that I liked that I necessarily may not have needed, but I wanted them,
Mhm.
and also like car selection. So like, because I was big on like I'll jump on Craigslist, buy something that I think is pretty good to like find a little deal where it's like an old lady maybe who just got a brand new car and
Mhm.
this other car still works and I could give her a couple of dollars for it. She ain't looking for crazy amounts of money,
Mhm.
drive it, then put it back on Craigslist, sell it, get and just that
Mhm.
kept going.
Yeah.
So I probably had like 15 cars in my 35 years of life, but that was important to me. That's the point I'm making.
Mhm.
Now a lot of that stuff is not important to me. So, it is important, but not that important to where damn I need every decision I'm making is revolving around what clothes, what sneakers, what car. None of that stuff matter to me no more.
Mhm.
And I guess to answer the question for right now, I'm always thinking about 5, 10, 15 years from now. Like today, yeah, I want to do the podcast. Got a couple things I got to do. I got a doctor's appointment, whatever. I'm doing that stuff. But what's important to me is how will I be living at the age 40, 50, 60? Will I be working?
Mhm.
And then here's another little kind of like a piece of game that I try to give to as many people as possible. But like when you're working and taking some of that money and putting it into your 401k or whatever retirement account you have, you're literally doing it so that that money will be what you live off of when you are not working.
Mhm.
Simply put, a lot of times people go, well, I'm never going to retire because either know they can't or they don't plan to. But it's basically saying now I'm not planning for later
Mhm.
because later I'm still going to be doing the same things. So I'm not trying to say something's wrong with that, but that is the approach.
Mhm.
My approach is now I'm going to point I do not want to have to rely on the active income I make.
Mhm.
So it's kind of crazy that like that is kind of how it should go, but no one learns about why that's important until
Mhm.
they get a little bit too old.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I can't retire if I wanted to. You 60 years old. Imagine being 60.
Mhm.
401k has whatever amount of money. And just so you know, I'm trying to paint this picture without saying the amounts of money because that doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Imagine being 60 and knowing that this is not enough money in this 401k for me to never work again. But your knees hurt,
Mhm.
your back hurt, you hate your boss, you hate the commute to work, all of this stuff that comes with working, like that is never where I want to be
Mhm.
because I've seen too many people get to that point. It's like, oh shit, I should have been investing.
That's a
So,
fact.
being 35, I'm like, all right, let me keep on putting money away because at this point in my life, I don't need that much money. I know what I do need, but anything extra, I don't really need it. I might want it, I don't need
Mhm.
it though. So the
Facts.
money I don't need, I'm gonna put to work and investments and retirement accounts or just regular accounts where once I get to that point where my knees hurting and my back hurting and all that, I
Mhm.
can live off of that money and I can do whatever I feel like doing. But that won't happen unless I'm focused on it today.
Mhm.
So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and something that people say all the time that makes them not do that is you only live once.
That's true. That's even to me. It's like you're right.
Yeah,
So
so that's more of a
since you only
reason.
got one life, you really want to work the whole thing? Because those people will say that, right?
Mhm.
They're gonna be 60. I'm gonna be 60. They're gonna be working. I'm not gonna be working.
Mhm.
Does that imagine how that will bite them in the butt in that moment?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like, yeah, you're right. You only live once, but part of what I have as in my life, and since I only got one of them,
Hmm.
I'm going to be relaxing
Yeah.
at some point because of the fruits of my labor that I'm living off of.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's just my opinion. But those people
Yeah.
who say that, I never really, I don't want them to feel bad about that. I don't want to debate or nothing, but I just know, okay, that's your outlook on life. Cool. Nothing wrong with that. That's
Yeah.
not mine though.
Yeah.
So,
'Cause I feel like when you think about investing, you gotta have your future self in mind. But some people don't think that far. Like
right.
you if you can't see yourself being 50, 60 years old, then how can you take the money that you have now and put it to? Because people want to say somebody want to take a trip right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, a trip would be nice, but depending on where you go, that's at least a rack,
At
if
least.
that. You know what I
At
mean? Like,
least.
and say you say, like sit out on a trip, you can still take trips, but just be more intentional, I guess,
Yeah.
in putting money away so that your
Yeah.
future self can be good. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And technically, I seen this quote yesterday. It said, "Your future self is already here, but it's the choices that you make today. Like your future
Mm-hmm.
self is a daily choice."
yeah.
That's basically what it
That's
said.
that's
Like,
that's a fact.
so your
That's
future self is a daily. You have to choose to be who you want to be today,
mm-hmm.
so that you can just already be that person going forward. Because you can't just wait until somebody could be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be my best self in 2026." So you're just gonna waste all of this time for the rest of the year.
Don't get me started
You
on
know what
that,
I
bro.
mean?
Yeah.
And
I know exactly what you're saying. Let me just add on some extra though. Like, here's
mm,
the thing that I try to help people understand. Now more than ever, there's so many ways to make money.
mhm,
So if you say, "Well, I want to go on a trip," you could find a way to make that trip money that doesn't interrupt the money you already make.
mhm,
That's all I'm saying. Like once you start thinking like that, it's not about what I have; it's about what I can make.
mhm,
That shift in your mind will change everything. Because
yeah,
if you just focus on what you have and you try to like do the most with it, yeah, that's a thing. But you don't necessarily have to live like that. You
yeah,
can let me figure out a quick way to make $1,000 to go on that trip.
mhm,
Not even maybe quick. Let me figure out a way I can make $1,000 over the next 3 months.
mhm,
Because in 3 months I'm taking that money to go on a trip. That could be a
yeah,
thing.
facts.
So just keeping your mind open is already a big shift.
Yeah, and I feel like one way that people can a step that people can take to make sure that they good in the future is by paying themselves first. Like before you
Yeah.
go dig into the money, like say you get paid and the first thing you do is book a flight. Like maybe hold off on that for a second
Mm-hmm.
and put some of what you have into a retirement account, put it in a higher savings,
Yeah.
put it into something that's gonna benefit you in the long run. And then instead of, like you said, maybe instead of trying to make an extra thousand in a month, make an extra thousand in 3 months. And just
Right.
put that 333 away every
Yeah.
single month.
A little DoorDash,
Just
something.
put some stuff away
I'm gonna
every
Uber
single
real
month.
real fast, make a little $300, and
Yup.
it's too many ways. All
Yeah.
I'm saying is these are ways that you can make money that did not exist 10, 15 years old. That's the
Mm.
point I'm making. Like
Yeah.
it's not 1990 anymore. Like you can make money
Yeah.
so many ways. It's like I don't really want to hear no excuses. I really don't.
And the information is there.
Everything you want to know.
Everything.
So there's no excuses.
To talk on information, and since we touched on self mastery, they say that potential is your gift from God. So given that, a lot of people have great potential.
Oh
A lot of
yeah,
people have, like, you look at me like that kid
bruh.
got a lot of potential,
Mm-hmm.
but say they don't live up to that potential, then it's like it's wasted. You're wasting
That's one of the saddest
what
things ever.
God gave you. So, I talk to my friends all the time. I'll be like, we're not supposed to, like, wait. If you get to your deathbed, and around your deathbed, you got these talents that you never used, these resources that you never use. The person that you were supposed to become is just looking at you like, wow, well,
Mm-hmm.
you never used me. You never took advantage of what you was given. You didn't use your gifts
You be,
that God gave
yeah.
you. So
That visual was crazy you just gave. You'd be ready to die if that was the
it, it's
case.
it's crazy
Pull
because
the
like
plug. No, I'm just joking.
People be like,
But
yo,
like,
it's crazy
wow,
because
yeah.
like that potential And you can't fall in love with potential either when it comes to like dating. Somebody could be a really good person, maybe a good person for you, and they may have some really good potential, but the potential ain't is not, you can't fall for potential because it's not there. Like
Yeah.
the potential is what a person could be. They
Yeah.
have to build up into that person, and if they don't build up into that person, then it's like that's not them.
Yeah.
That's their potential self.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to talk on different versions of yourself. You got your public self, which
Yeah.
is, how everybody sees you, social media, people in the community, stuff like that.
Facts.
You got your private self. That's
Mm-hmm.
between you, your close
That's
friends.
that's me with a do rag on.
I'm crying. Then you got your secret self, and your secret self is just you.
Mm-hmm.
That's just you. Only you know your secret self. Only you know what goes on behind closed doors when you by yourself. So it's like different types of code switching.
Mm-hmm.
But your secret self is really the true you. And that comes with, what is it called? Integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, integrity. What is like what when in your life did you notice that like integrity was important in general? Like how did you improve your integrity?
You know, that's a great question. I feel like I knew a long time ago, but certain checkpoints in my life kind of reinforced that.
Mhm.
I knew I knew for a fact, probably before I was 18, that integrity meant a lot because my mom was always on me. Like my mom was on my ass, like for real. And I'm not, excuse my French, but like shout out to her because
Mhm.
I grew up around people who mom let them do everything.
Mhm.
Like, bro, when I was real little, I could ride my bike. I couldn't leave my street though.
Same.
All my friends like yo like they on the west side, north side, and it's like damn like, and I'm talking elementary school. I'm not saying like middle school. Like I'm talking we was 8 years old, nine
Yeah.
years old. They mom just let them do whatever.
Mhm.
My mom wasn't going for that.
Yeah.
So to kind of reel back into the question, I knew that the things that I did, whether somebody was looking or not, meant something.
Mhm.
Then probably around 18, when I'm going to college, realizing like if I miss class, nobody called my mom house. It's not like oh on the report card for this semester. It was just like But then like I said a few episodes ago, like I literally went to school, realized I don't get in trouble much, and stopped doing work.
Mhm.
Got a letter saying you are basically on probation to lose matriculation. So that was after the first ever semester. So that's going into Christmas break. It's lit now. You like, everybody come back or whatever, whatever.
Mhm.
Go back in January. Into January, you know how, that's spring semester.
Yeah.
So I know I got to do my work. Still didn't do it. And then by May, it was like, all right, so you lost matriculation. Yeah, like my transcript was horrible. So the point I'm making is no one saw me messing myself up,
Mhm.
but I knew there was no escaping that. Like it was
Mhm.
like you messed up. So so the year after that, that whole year I worked two jobs, saved my money to go back to school. But like that's when I knew I'm like, yeah, I need to make sure I'm doing my work whether people watching or not. And then probably around like age 25, 26. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say 28. 25, I kind of knew stuff was important, but I wasn't a father then. 28, I became a father.
Mhm.
And I knew I have to do what I'm supposed to do no matter what, or I'm gonna teach my son that he could slack. So since then it's been up, like looking
Mhm.
back, you know what I mean? So
Facts.
that's really what it is.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real. And a lot of people say there's no shortcuts. When it
There is
comes to
none.
like achieving your goals, there is no shortcuts,
Shouldn't
And
be. It shouldn't be shortcuts because if there were, it probably wouldn't even feel as good.
mhm.
So
a,
I always
wa-
keep that in mind.
a wise man told me the more you put in, the more you get, or
Hmm.
you get out what you put in. So if
Right.
you put in minimal effort, you're gonna get out minimal results.
Hmm.
Um,
So true.
to touch on shortcuts, putting in the work, like putting in the physical work.
Hmm.
Um, what what part in time did you realize that you had to do more?
Mm. Man, these are some of the best questions you ever had.
Mhm.
I would say it was. I'm gonna call it and say 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I knew. So I'm gonna paint the picture again. I'm in our second home. It's bigger, it's better, costs more. My job is it's cool, but it's not like I'm rich, right? My sons are young. They 3 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Black Friday. Did a little shopping, but not nothing crazy, just little regular stuff. But right then I knew I wanted to start a business. And I knew I needed an LLC. Everybody knows, oh, you gotta get an LLC, but like it's one thing to know, it's another thing to go on ny.gov and sign up.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
so I knew if I didn't do that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck with my one source of income, which I already was kind of thinking like, it's not enough. Like it's cool, but it's not enough
Mm-hmm.
to me. And here's the thing. It was like, bro, it was like 4 in the morning. My youngest son just went back to sleep because he wasn't even sleeping all night like that. Like I was up, dozing, whatever. And I get on the website, Black Friday, 4 in the morning, make Jordan Davis Services LLC, not knowing what it's about to be, just knowing I need my paperwork right.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I kind of went down the rabbit hole of business ownership, and now I've built a business that's profitable, is great. But that wouldn't have happened without that mindset of let me just go ahead on and do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Low key, hold on. Read the question again to make sure I'm answering it the way I want. So
When did you realize you had to do more?
yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
Black Friday 2022,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew I had to do more because I needed more sources of income,
Mm-hmm.
and I also knew I didn't want to try to resort to something illegal, because where we from, that's like the first thing to think. Okay, I can do this, do that. So many illegal ways to make money,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew it wouldn't last though. Like I don't know anybody who is living that lifestyle, selling whatever, doing whatever that's illegal, that actually had a long run and it worked. I
Wow.
don't know one person who did it. I knew a
Yeah.
lot of people who did it, made a lot of money, and now I don't know where they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking for more so like longevity. Like if I could make
Yeah.
$1 extra a day, that's more than I had. But I
Mm-hmm.
also knew I wouldn't have to be looking over my shoulder or trying to act like I'm doing something to make a front. I just
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to do that. So I'm like, if as long as I make some money
Yeah.
for life, I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my approach.
Okay. For people that's out there that have a business, um, what would you tell someone that has a business if they're not really seeing much fruit from their labor yet?
And I would ask how long you've been doing it, because you're
Okay.
not supposed to see fruit from the labor instantly, or
Mm-hmm.
even the first 2 3 months. Like my business was garbage. We didn't make money for the first 3 months. Then fourth month, fifth month, like okay, this is kind of working, and then
Mm-hmm.
it just kept going. But it depends on your industry, it depends on your business, it depends on what you do. But I will say, you are not supposed to have fruits of any labor
Mm-hmm.
in the first 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year. And that's what kind of like scares people away from even owning a business. It's like, I don't know, this is gonna be hard. And it's like, bro, everything hard. To me,
Mm-hmm. Nah, that's a fact.
everything hard. So you choose which one you want to deal with. You want to deal with being your own boss, or you want to deal with it being hard to get to work and you hate your boss.
Mm-hmm. Nah, that's a
So
fact.
yeah,
That's a fact. What do you think took your business from making nothing in the first 3 months to getting consistent income from the business?
building trust. Like, cause in your first month, nobody knows you. What you
Mm-hmm.
do doesn't matter. They don't really care.
Yeah.
Second month, too. Third month is like, all right, now you probably have earned a few clients, and when you first start, you're supposed to be going above and beyond,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what, so that the clients can see this person is serious and reliable, and actually they feel like their money went further than it should have.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got to create for your clients.
Okay.
Because if your value that you give them is here and their money is here, it's like that's cool, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody could take your spot,
Yeah. Facts.
like everybody. So if
Facts.
you're like, I'm gonna give, even if it's I'm gonna give this much, right, for
Mm-hmm.
the camera, and they only paid that much,
Mm-hmm.
they feel the client is like, I'm gonna go back to that person.
Yeah.
I'll rock with them.
You're getting a lot of bang for your buck.
You have to give bang for your buck, and the easier way to kind of understand that, and as the business owner, put your mind in the place of the client. Like, would you want to pay for anything, a service or a product, where you don't necessarily get what you pay for?
Mm-hmm.
No. Do you want to deal with a business who gives you more than you pay for every time? Yes. As a business owner, now you get back into that realm of, well, how can I do that? How can I make that happen? Sometimes it's just it's not even a monetary thing. It's like, do you call the client after the purchase?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, are you happy with what you got? Do you ask for a review on Google? Do you, like, these little things that don't cost anything but some time
Mm-hmm.
get you so far, because the people who are doing what you do and don't do it,
Mm-hmm.
now they just kind of disqualifying themselves. It's almost like if I'm a pressure washer and you're a homeowner and you looked at me and another business, you chose me, I did a good job, and I called you, hey, are you happy with what you got? Yes. Okay. You probably look at me different than if you'd have chose this person. They came, they might have did a good job, but then you never hear from them. It's like, it ain't
Mm-hmm.
the same. It's like,
Yeah. Facts.
So I try to put myself in the client's mind all the time, bro.
Mm-hmm.
All the
So
time.
nurturing relationships.
It's all about relationships. And on top of that, literally, like, put yourself in their shoes. Like, how would you feel if? Simple as that.
Yeah.
How
Nah,
would
that's a
you
fact.
feel if? And then if you're making situations where they're feeling great, because that's what you would want if you were them, they now have more reason to spend more money with you,
Mm-hmm.
tell friends about you, that kind of thing. Because everybody's gonna run and tell when something goes wrong
Mm-hmm.
every time. So you
Facts.
can't let that
Facts. Yeah, because
happen.
that's bad for business.
Exactly.
Um.
So yeah, just stay on the opposite side of
Mhm.
that spectrum.
Yeah. Second to last question. What would you say to somebody that? Because I know there's a lot of people out there. Somebody that has no kids, no wife, no girlfriend. They in their 20s and they got a business. How do you think they should approach where they are in general in life?
You gotta run it up. You gotta go harder than everybody because you don't got anybody in your way. Like, not to say in your way, but like,
Yeah.
if you're in your 20s and you already took the leap of faith to start a business, a lot of times that's not even the case. But
Mm,
if that's the case, you need to learn how to work in your business so that you can work on your business,
mm,
right? So like, if you whatever you and I would hope it would be a service based business. If it's products, that's cool too. Selling, hoodies and t-shirts or whatever, that's cool. But
mm,
I always try to lean towards a service based business, because it's like, if you can actually do the work
mm.
as the owner, one, you'll make more because you don't got to pay a wage. You
Yeah.
just collect all the money.
Facts.
Or what you can kind of understand is like, all right, this works, but that really don't work.
Mm,
Or this works, but it works better if I do it this way, that kind of thing, right? The
yeah.
more you can do that, the more now you can train people to do it the way you do it.
Mm,
Like, if you are a business owner and you do a thing, right? You're a service-based business. You probably want to hire people who do stuff like you.
mm.
Like, if
That's a
you are if
fact.
you're a shitty person, excuse my French, you probably shouldn't own a business because you don't have a good eye on who's good and who's not most
Mm,
of the time. But if you call yourself a quality person, a good person, you probably only really want people working in your company that's like you.
facts.
So the way you do things is the way you need to teach things,
Mm,
so that now you can back away and work on your business instead
yeah.
of being in your business.
Yeah.
And that alone is a very, very tough thing, because I know a lot of business owners
Mm,
who are very much working in their business and not on it.
mm,
And they don't realize you really don't have a business, you just have a job that you own.
mm,
So when you have a job that you own, you are stuck as an employee.
mm,
But if you are an owner and you've worked your way out of the business to where now you kind of just pay the bills of the business, make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, not so much being in the field, you can now grow it quicker and stronger.
mm,
So, a 20-year-old with no kids, like, yeah, you need to be working sun up to sundown. And when I say working, I don't mean
mm.
labor. I mean, like, little things. Let me make sure I make a post for my business. Let me take some pictures of my business. Let me do a video of my business so I can post it on my Facebook and my Google.
Mm,
Like, that should never stop. The
yeah.
more you do that,
Mm,
the less you'll have to do it.
yeah.
And if you
Nah,
try
that's
to
real.
skip out
That's
back
real.
to the point of the work,
Mm.
you
Try
try
the
to
shortcuts.
you try to shortcut the work. You just making the work take longer.
Yeah,
I've
that's
been
a
teaching
fact.
my sons that, like, let's just do it now so
Mm,
it can be done, as opposed to crying and whining about not having to do it or doing it
yeah.
maybe. Now it's 2 3 hours, we still ain't done. So
Yeah.
like, that's
The time's gonna go by regardless.
it's a principle that can be used so many ways. But
Mm,
yeah, bro, like, it's really that
that's real.
for real.
That's real. What would you say to someone that's working on the business but not in it?
Keep going. Like,
Mm,
keep going in the sense of find people like you that you
Mhm.
can trust to do the things that you don't necessarily need to do. I'm literally in the middle of that right now. Like, I make enough money to pay somebody to do the things I don't feel like doing, so I
Mhm.
can do the things I like to do that actually move the needle.
Mhm.
And it's me not being greedy, saying I'm gonna do it because I want to pay. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm gonna pay
Facts.
somebody to do that busy work
Mhm.
that I don't like doing, but it has to be done. But
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have to be the one to do it.
Mhm.
So that is a very important thing. But you kind of can't stop working on your business, because maybe working on your business is going to networking events and shaking hands with people who own things that will help your business.
That's real.
So that's
That's
just
real.
one example. I'll give you a million, but yeah.
Okay. And last but not least, I know I've been throwing questions out left and right.
I love it.
um,
I love it. Keep it going.
but last but not least, why is it important to be detailed and organized, and how can you be more detailed and organized?
So, okay, I'm gonna give you three and three. So, three
Mm-hmm.
reasons why
Mm-hmm.
is because one, it's gonna help you transition from working in to on.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're more detailed and organized, you can teach that detailed and organized,
Mm-hmm. That's a
right?
fact.
Two is because being sloppy usually creates more work later on. Like, and I don't mean sloppy, I just mean if you're not that detailed and they're not that organized, there's probably gonna be things you gotta run back and fix. You don't want to do that. You're wasting time.
Mm-hmm.
And then three, for reasons, is like just understanding that most people who are successful are super detailed, super organized, or at least have a little assistant who
Mm-hmm.
can help them be that.
Yeah.
So that's three reasons for you. Now, you said three ways to do it.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
guess I can go back in reverse, hire an assistant
Mm-hmm.
to help you be more detailed and organized. Um, and then also just understanding that you can't make more money. This is reason two, or this is thing two.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason behind it is you can't make more money if you're trying to do everything and you are not that detailed, not that
Mm-hmm.
organized.
Okay.
So if you want to make $1 million a year, but you're only at 100,000 a year, there's no way to do that without actually understanding. Damn, I need to step it up and be very more fine tuned,
Mm-hmm.
right? So anybody who
Facts.
thinks they want to level up, look at the people who are above you and know that, well, they on time, like they making sure everything is to a T,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then for things, excuse me, that you can do to be more detailed, organized, to be on the business, not in it, is having a vision to understand it's supposed to go that way. Like
Mm-hmm.
like if I started a company knowing I'm the only employee and I don't have the vision to know I want this to be a full scale operation, I would never develop the thoughts to go into being on my business instead of
Mm-hmm.
in it. So, I think great leaders and great CEOs and like some like a Elon Musk or Zuckerberg or whatever, they have great vision.
Mm-hmm.
They can see into the future, or they can at least understand where they want their future to go.
Yeah.
That way they can work on that. But
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard to do that if you're working in your business. If you're the one that's sweeping the floors, taking the trash out, if you're that person all the time, how can you ever have that vision?
Mm-hmm.
You don't get enough room or time to think that far. So,
That's a fact.
yeah,
Dang. That's a lot right there. I ain't gonna lie. This was a powerful episode.
it really was.
Powerful
Coming up on
episode.
perfect time. So, like,
Yeah. Yeah, man. Definitely let us know what y'all want us to dive into going forward,
mm-hmm.
and where can people find us if they want to have a conversation about finance, planning,
So here's the thing.
life.
This is what I'm gonna say. First off, Facebook, Instagram, Indeed, LinkedIn. I always get them mixed up. Jordan Davis. If you want to find me, I'm right here, Waters Parkway, Syracuse, New York, along with Nation, right?
Mhm.
But for the people who may see this episode and they really want more, or they want to give us feedback or whichever, I feel like the easiest way to do that is just like, comment, subscribe, let us know. We'll check comments. We'll see what's being said, and then work off of that. So
Mhm.
where can they find you?
Shoot, Facebook, Nashawn Ash, LinkedIn, Nashawn Ash, TikTok, Instagram,
Mm.
NA.V.O, YouTube, NA.V.O, Apple Music, Spotify, NA.V.O. Yeah, and yeah, if people, if anybody wants to, meet with us, have a conversation about finance, getting your money right, getting more control of your money, learning how to invest, where to invest, stuff like that, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you out. Yeah. With that being said, that concludes episode 7, self mastery.
Let's go.
Yeah, self mastery.
This is a good one. I hope you charge your phone.
Yes, sir.